Hello everyone, this is the Sports Show podcast, and here we're joined with Josh Hickman. Josh, how are you, mate?
I'm all good, mate. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good, mate. Thanks for asking. Today we're going to have an episode about your boxing, about a bit of what you do, because I know you do a wee bit other than boxing. But we'll just get straight into it, mate. First of all, how are you? You good?
Yeah, good, good.
Good. That's good to hear, mate. We met on the 20th of April at my fight. It was actually a fight on one of the Edge of Glory shows, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know who you were, and you come up to me after, and you asked for a photo, isn't it? Didn't you? And
Uh,
I actually wasn't expecting it. So you like, I think my coach Jer, he said something to me. He's like, "About a photo," and I said, "Yeah, I'll get a photo." And I jumped up, and you sort of put your arm around me, and I went, "With me?" And then I was like, "Right, okay, happy days." So not gonna lie, mate, you put a smile on my face. I'll tell you that. But no, that was good. What did you make of the fights that night?
um, I didn't get to watch many of them because I was waiting for my teammates' fight, so I was a wee bit nervous there. But it was a good night. Them shows are always brilliant. Like,
Yeah, yeah, and especially we'll go on to the semi-pro shows as well. And a Wedge of Glory one too. We've obviously had the W&H with my coach Jared. His shows are very good, and James Falloon too. But we'll get on to them later on because we've some news about them. But we'll get into that later. As you said there about your team, give us a wee bit of an intel about your team, about who your teammates are, your coaches, all that stuff.
well, I have a weird training sort of regime. During the week on Mondays and Wednesdays, I train at a Guildford amateur boxing club. So it's not that the amateur scene just doesn't entice me. I don't like the way it's run. But I like the club and it's got a nice family feel. But on Fridays, I'd go out to the tunnel and spar. So that's obviously the main part where your coach can learn. So out there, they're like my big boxing family. They've got Dara, Ashleen, Kieran, Rebecca, uh, Sean who fought.
Yeah.
Um, all Evans, and it's great rounds, and it's like there's a sort of feel to it where you're in there going to war for 2 minutes, and then after that, you're friends again, and it's a good environment to be around.
Yeah, of course. And what do you make of how, obviously your coach Ciaran Brady? He's a professional MMA fighter fighting on Cage Warriors. What do you get from
He's
his perspective of what he coaches? Because obviously he has to be good, not only at striking, but on the MMA side, jiu-jitsu, all that stuff. So what do you get from a striking perspective?
he's a genius. Like, he's so I can't describe it. There's so many different things that he can say that your regular coach wouldn't say. I can hear it in the background of videos when I'm sparring. I can hear him saying, small adjustments, but I'm taking them in, and it's making all the difference when I'm sparring. So he's a top man, and he's a genius when it comes to anything MMA.
Yeah, definitely. And you were meant to actually have your debut on the 5th of May on the W&H show that I fought on, and unfortunately you broke your hand. How did you end up doing that?
It wasn't even more I broke my hand. It was worse than that. I tore ligaments in two of my fingers, so there's not really a way to fix that. It was just kind of a long time out. So when it originally happened, we were still a bit out from the event. So I'd said that possibly maybe not fight the original opponent because he was a very good fighter. But I was asking how long it was going to take to heal and if I could still fight and all, and it was only going to give me about 2 weeks to train. And I thought it's not worth the risk. I set out and make my debut right.
Yeah. Who was the opponent? Do you know his name?
Luke Mullen.
Luke Mullen? Oh, right, okay. Yeah, he is. He's a decent fighter.
It was there was a lot in the fight too. It was meant to be at 54 kilo, and I was actually sitting underneath 54 kilo walking about. So I really doubt the fight was ever gonna actually happen. There was too much complications.
Yeah, and that then things happen in boxing, unfortunately. But you're gonna make your debut, hopefully, fingers crossed this time on the next W&H show, which hasn't been announced yet. It'll be announced soon. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be good. Another good show, which I'll probably be on myself, so we'll be sharing a car together. That'll be good. And
Yeah,
yeah, mate, you buzzing for it?
yeah. I've said to Jared this time, 52 kilo. Make sure everything's right with the weight and taking care of my hands in training this time. So
100%. Obviously, you mentioned your teammates. Who would your main teammates be at the tunnel? I know, of course, Sean, who I fought and got beat by. Um, 2 or 3 weeks ago, which it wasn't a good experience for me. I wasn't boxing myself, but anyway, it's just about me today. It's about you. So, what do you get from your teammates in sparring?
Um, they're all they're all very high level. There's no one that you're not gonna get a good spar out of, but there's also nobody that you're like scared to spar. You're always learning stuff, and you'll get stopped in the middle of sparring by a teammate, and they'll say, "Here, you're not doing that right," or "I like what you're doing. Like, how are you doing that?" So it's better that way than they're not actually like trying to insult you. They're more critiquing you in a teammate sort of way.
Yeah, and that's the way it seems from the outside. From looking at the tunnel to tunnel, it's like a great club to be a part of. Especially when I've been talking to Ciaran and Sean as well. And Dara, and there's a few others from the team who have all seemed very genuine people. So it does seem like a good club to be a part of. But talking about sparring, you had a message this morning that you got news you could be sparring Colin Murphy after his fight. Of course, he's fighting on Friday night.
Yeah,
How'd that sort of come up? Give us a wee bit of a story about that.
I'm still buzzing about it, to be honest. So his I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're dating or not, but I'll say his girlfriend is quite friendly. She was on that last show,
Okay.
on April 20th. That's who I'd actually originally like went up to the show with, and I popped her a message and said, any chance of like getting a bit of work with him. And last night she said, I 100% just give him a few weeks after his fight to get ready for you. So obviously I thought she was joking. And then I texted her this morning and was like, were you being serious last night? She was like, yeah. He said that's all good, give him this week and then next week or the week after we can head up to his gym. And I was like, wasn't like,
Class, and Colin unbelievable. Like if you've seen him yourself, he'll be very
yeah,
someone who you would be scared of for. But
yeah.
no, he's very good. What do you think of his fight on Friday night in the Odyssey? Are you heading to it?
No, I'm not heading to it.
I'm sure you'll be
I
watching.
was not. I'll definitely be watching it. Yeah, I think he wins. I don't see past any of the Irish fighters winning on Friday night there. Connor Quinn is the one that really got me into boxing too, so I'll be watching along for his fight.
That was a question I didn't even ask. I didn't even ask how you got into it. So answer me that. How did you sort of get brought into boxing?
Well, my dad's always been a fan of boxing, so I've got it from there. But my first ever boxing fight that I sat down and watched under my own conscience was Michael Conlon vs TJ Doheny. And from there, Michael really inspired me. So I watched the Lee Wood fight. Obviously, I was gutted about that. And then after that, I went to the Garfi fight, I think it is you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
I've been to every Conlon fight after. Obviously, he hasn't won very many. But on that Garfi card, Connor Quinn was there. And he was quite impressive on the card. So I gave him a follow. And he had up in a story, he was doing like 1-to-1s. And I thought, I've always wanted to actually get into boxing. So this is a good experience for it. And Papa Massey got back to me straight away. And just like I was training with him.
Unreal, unreal. And what did he teach you from a professional sort of mindset? And from what he knows, what did he teach you?
It was more, if you join a club straight away, you wouldn't get the level of correction that I was getting. If I was making a mistake, it was corrected straight away because it was so concentrated. And coming from him, he's not only a good boxer, he's got like an incredible boxing mind. He's very smart when it comes to boxing. So the level of correction was just the main thing, and it's actually made me, a lot better as a fighter today.
Yeah, and of course, we'll move on from that. You also opened a new page on Instagram. You're sort of like a sports specialist. You have all of it to do with like nutrition, and I'll let you explain it here yourself what it is. You also take on clients, so I'll have a sort of link for people to come up watching to go on, give you a follow. But explain exactly what it is, mate.
Okay, so I set it up because I just have a real big passion for sport, not just boxing, just any sport. I've been involved in a lot of sports over my life, so it focuses on, high performance of athletes. So what you would need to eat to have high performance, how you would need to train. In the gym, obviously, people don't really know how to train when they go into the gym. They just do a few bicep curls and they're like, oh, that's me. And it's not beneficial for them. So obviously, I'm still studying myself, so I can't give full blocks of knowledge because I'm still learning myself too. But I thought whilst I'm learning, why not, give out that knowledge and expand like my knowledge on a page and give it out to some clients.
Amazing, mate. That sounds unreal. Mate, Josh, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. Thank you very much. Is there anything else you'd like to say? Any thanks to sponsors, anything?
Yeah, I'll shout out my sponsors here. I've got Craft Barbershop, Champions Custom. You should check them out. They make shorts and all if you're looking new shorts. And A2B Coaches.
Amazing. Josh, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
No problem.
See you soon. Thank you. See you later.